What's going on, everyone? Slendy here again, and we've got some great news. We are finally getting our big May update with the 3v3 arenas tomorrow. They are going to give us downtime at what time? 8 a.m. My local time zone, so it's going to be 5 a.m. for the West Coast. So 5 a.m. West Coast, 8 a.m. East Coast, about 2 hours long. And they've actually been pretty good, completing it within the time frame. So hopefully it won't be much longer than that. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at the updates? And you guys are going to have to forgive me. This is going to be a long one. We're just going to have to do it. So hopefully you're watching this on your way home and or listening. Don't watch and drive. All right, guys. So let's get right into it. So we have the 3v3 player versus player arenas. Step into the arena to test your skills against other combatants. 3v3 arenas are a new small-scale PvP game mode where teams of 3 can face off for fame, glory, and riches. You might even win a few unique housing items. Each arena match is a best-of-5 contest. Fight to be the first team to win 3 rounds and secure the match for your team. Rounds are 2 minutes long, but if the battle lingers, a deadly ring of fire will push players to the center of the arena, forcing combatants to engage or die. Players level 20 and above can queue for 3v3 arenas by opening the modes menu, allowing on-demand PvP gameplay from anywhere in Eternum. If players need a brief introduction to what the arena is, they can speak to the fight promoter, Maximus, Marcellus, and Everfall. And I'll tell you what, guys, the arenas are badass. They're so much fun. Not just saying that. So player versus player reward track. Now this could use some work, but let's see what they say. So the PvP rewards track introduces 2 new currencies, PvP XP and Azoth Salt. Players can earn both types of currency through PvP related activities like War, Outpost Rush, 3v3s, PvP missions, PvP open world kills, and fort captures. And you'll also earn bonus Azoth Salt when gaining XP while flagged for PvP. Collect PvP experience to climb the rewards track for additional rewards like gear, weapons, emotes, and items. 3 rewards will be drawn from the pool at each of the notches shown below. You can then select and purchase one of the checkpoint rewards with Azoth Salt. The rewards get better at each notch. When you get to the 3rd notch, you will be ready to level up. This will either happen automatically when purchasing your 3rd reward or manually if you pass on the purchase. Players that purchase less than the maximum 3 rewards will receive a small salt boost for the next track. With each track rotation, your PvP rank will rise by 1. Hit rank milestones to unlock in-game achievements, titles, and exclusive rewards. Start your personal PvP quest now. And one more thing, this is addicting. So once you start 3v3s, you're going to want to get that progression, holy moly, as fast as you can. It is so much fun. And, the nice thing is, I hear a lot of people say that, since I went to a smaller server, that, well, what about arenas? What about OPR? Yeah, we don't do OPRs much. That's definitely not a thing. But with 3v3s, you don't need to wait for 32 players. So those are going to be popping consistently. So, new Expedition Mutators return to the Depths and face a brand new challenge for endgame rewards. The Depths is now part of the weekly Expedition Mutator rotation. In addition, 3 new mutation types have been added to the pool for a total of 27 new combinations. So we've got Overgrown, which is nature damage and resistance. Overgrown adds effects like Toxic, a pool which tracks down players, and Compost, which turns trash into healing areas for their allies. Barbaric focuses on physical damage, so adds Berserk, an Enrage effect, and Shattering, which deals stamina damage. And Fiendish, curses that focus on the Nocturnal. Fiendish adds Weary, which will weaken players with Rend and make them vulnerable with Slow. It also features Blood Offering, which stacks damage over time. Varangian Knights, episode Deuce. So continue the story of the Varangian Knights and their conquest for power. Players will encounter 4 new Varangian enemies in this episode: the Crusher, Spearman, Hound, and Mage. Find Abigail Rose just outside a new Varangian camp at Sorcerer's Delve in Everfall to start the episode 2 quest chain, recommended for players levels 25 to 30. Players selected pronouns. We're just going to skip this. Never skipped anything in my life, but are you serious? Okay, all right, we'll go back. The player's selected pronoun will now be reflected in chat. For instance, when using an emote, the preferred pronoun will be considered and displayed. Since the selected pronoun is now used game-wide, we have also relocated the selection setting to the bio screen for higher menu visibility. World experience. So some notable fixes. So they fixed a visual issue on the ghost ship, updated the ghost ship to have sound effects when it can be seen in the distance, fixed an issue where the ancient door is sometimes invisible in Skyview Repose, fixed an issue where unintentional VFX displayed at the feet of enemies which were hit, addressed an issue where players were able to stack housing furniture much taller than their property's limit in the first light settlement, updated sound effects to play the appropriate sound when AI are mining and chopping wood, remove collision when a player is in death's door down state, fix an issue where heavy use of area of effect abilities, example in a war, would cause foliage to flicker, and the respawn point for tent camp skins was relocated to the front porch of the tent for all tent variants and tent skins. Expeditions. So they fixed a bug that caused players to sometimes not respawn in expeditions. Tempest Heart. They've performed an audio pass for the music within the Tempest Heart expedition. Updated Isabella's VO to sound better within the dungeon's acoustics. Updated 𝙏𝙤𝙢𝙢𝙢 last VO line to play smoothly when players have defeated him. Updated 𝙏𝙤𝙢𝙢𝙢's corrupted corruption sound effects to be better suit the experience. Fixed collision issues in the corrupted graveyard that players occasionally got stuck on. Fixed collision issues in the Sea of Corruption where players occasionally got stuck on edges. Fixed additional collision within Isabella's boss fight arena. Fixed additional collision within 𝙏𝙤𝙢𝙢's boss fight arena. Removed collision that allowed players to climb out of the tendril of corruption. Updated key lighting within the Basilica so that lower spec PCs will receive casted shadows. And so, some optimizing. I love optimization. Fixed an issue that prevented the Blackguard's blunderbuss from dropping. 𝙏𝙤𝙢𝙢 and Tempest Heart now drops it. Oh, yeah, that's going to be pretty badass. I'd like to see the stats on that. Dynasty Shipyard. Players can no longer circumvent the gate entrance to get into Isabella's fight space. Garden of Genesis, they fix an area where players could move out of bounds, remove collision on an object that allowed for healing outside of the Greenskeeper arena, and adds that spawned during the Caretaker encounter should now properly die when the Caretaker dies. Lazarus Instrumentality. Blocked off exploit path that allowed players to safely heal near Chardas' arena. Fix an issue that caused Tolos and Asteros to respawn after the expedition was completed. Fix collision on a ledge that allowed players to climb up onto an unintended area and made lighting adjustments to minimize flashing lights in certain areas. Starstone Burrows. Fix collision where players got stuck. And the depths. Fix several navigation and collision spots in Thorpe's arena. Fix several navigation collision spots in Archdeacon's arena. And some quests. They fix an issue where the wrong VO line played for Giannis Alazar's quest, The Alliance. Fix blank spaces and formatting of quests and journal text for Master of the Tempest. Fix an issue where players got stuck in a loop during the trial of the Shrivner faction progression quest. And the Soul Warden Epitaph interactable was moved so players can now reach it without issue. And lastly, they fixed a bug that caused a player to automatically receive the next main story quest from a different starter territory than their own when they logged out, then logged back in right after finishing their faction initiation quest. Some AI updates. AI will no longer randomly disappear when running away from a player. Fixed a bug where the enemy Banes and Seniab would attack and chase players further than intended. Fixed a rare issue that could cause AI to die when rooted during the retreat sequence. Fixed a bug where the enemies summoned by other enemies, example wolf summoned by an alpha wolf, would have a delay before they attack. Fixed an issue that caused a lost brute characters to sometimes walk in slow motion when patrolling. Fix an issue that caused the Ladle villagers to not deal damage with their charge attack. Fix an issue that caused the Shovel villagers to not deal damage with their ground pound attack. Fix an issue that allowed Stanley the Rabbit to wander away from players during interactions. Ziggoramit's fight will no longer reset when players stand on the edge of the arena. Reduce the vision distance of corruption tendrils and breach events to better fit the size of the events. Players can now disengage from their fight at a shorter distance. Fix an issue that caused large cat characters to stall if the blunderbuss's claw shot attack was used to initiate combat with them. Fix an issue that prevented players from building threat on AI characters at far distances. Fix an issue that prevented some range AI characters from approaching and engaging the player from extremely far distances. Fix a visual issue with the Varangian Mage. Fix a visual issue with the Withered Swarmancer, the Varangian Knight, the Plague Huntress. Rafflebones is no longer a guaranteed spawn. So, let me know what you guys think, because I have no idea what that is. I didn't think he was a guaranteed spawn. Like, I was pretty sure that he can be in more than one zone at one time, because it just wouldn't make sense to have a Raffle Bones that's level 20 out in the middle of nowhere in a low level area. And, there would be no Raffle Bones anywhere else until somebody found and killed him. So I don't think that's the way it worked. I'm pretty sure there's going to be multiple Raffle Bones at any given time. But I didn't know that he was guaranteed to be at all those spots. So maybe that validates the fact that he is a guaranteed spawn in every single zone. And now he's just going to be harder to find. So basically, and I knew this was coming. Basically, I think he's just going to be harder to find now. You're not going to see as many Raffle Bones. So if you're on a populated server, you're literally never going to see him. And if you're on a low pop server, you'll probably still see him quite a bit. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe I'm wrong. Fix the desync issue that could occur if you were hit by a light attack while already in a stagger animation. So World AI, they added named loot tag to the following AI: Abiogenesis, Boomer, Borvin, Bright Eye, Entropy, Ezra, Jackson, Carl the Overseer, Corrupted Gladiator, Yrsa, Captain Lu 10, Silverpelt, Snaggletooth, the Striped Kieran, Dimethicone, Seadrill, and Morgulf. Expedition AI General. So fix an issue that allowed certain expedition bosses to improperly regenerate their health after a player is put into death's door. Fix an issue where expedition bosses could sometimes target players outside their arena. Fix an issue that caused the AI to sometimes ignore players in expeditions. And fix the bug that caused expedition bosses to fail to perform wipe attacks when all party members were down. Tempest Heart, they fixed an issue that caused Nishatune's Corruption Shot to sometimes hit players' position on his sides. Rework Nishatune's Corruption Flame and Corruption Core abilities. A Corruption Core will now spawn 3 seconds after a Corruption Flame happens, which should reliably ensure that cores do not overlap with flames. Fix an issue that caused Isabella to sometimes not face the person she was aiming at, and fix an issue that created an unintended safe space during Nishatune's Corrupted Flame phase. Dynasty Shipyard, Empress Zal, fix an issue that caused her Corruption Wave spell to hit outside of the intended area. Fix an issue that caused her Corruption Wave spell to hit behind her. Fix the damage from the initial summoning of her Dragon Breath spell. This spell will now only impact the area that is breathed on by the dragon. And they reduce the damage of her Pedestal Toss. Fix an inconsistency with the leashing behavior of Commander Chen, Maiden Dayu, and Maiden Landfin. The AI guards will now utilize new animations. For Depths, they fix an issue that caused the Depths Archdeacon encounter to abruptly despawn hounds on a player entering Death's Door, and fix an issue that caused Archdeacon, Azamela, and other corrupted priests rolling corruption spell to kill players in Death's Door, and Thorpe now drops appropriate loot for mutated expeditions. Lazarus, they fix an issue that caused Chartis to sometimes target the same player repeatedly with his beam attack. So I guess that was never intended? So now better be careful. Mutators and mutated AI. Fix an issue where the Blood Offering mutator effects ticked an inconsistent amount of times. It should consistently tick 3 times now. Reduce the slow effect from the Weary mutator effect from 50 to 30%. Fix an issue where player status modified damage dealt from the Blood Offering mutation. Let me read that again. Fix an issue where player status modified damage dealt from the Blood Offering mutation, Okay. Fix an issue where the Toxic 1 and 2 mutator status effect tooltip stated incorrect damage values. Some combat changes. So attribute bonuses. Updated the Focus 300 attribute to no longer grant mana regen. Instead, it now grants a flat 8 mana per second for the duration of the effect. Updated the 200 Constitution attribute bonus tooltip to indicate that the bonus is specifically physical armor. Text was added for additional clarity while the functionality remains the same. The stamina damage increase on the 150 strength attribute bonus was reduced from 50 to 25%. It also now only applies to light attacks and has no impact on heavy attacks. Reduced the physical armor increase from 200 Constitution attribute bonus. It was lowered from 20% to 10%. Equipment load healing changes. Oh boy. Okay, you guys ready for this? All right. Oh boy. Jeez. Updated equip tool load healing bonus to be multiplicative. Now all the healing bonuses from equip load, positive or negative, will be added on after all other calculations have been made, meaning the bonuses will have a larger and more consistent impact on healing. So for light armor, the bonus is going to be bigger, so you're going to get more healing, but for heavy armor, the decrease is going to be bigger, meaning even less healing. And this was very evident on the PTR when I was playing arenas. You simply cannot use heavy or medium armor. It's just not viable anymore. So they've effectively killed off, any paladin builds. In my opinion, this is just my opinion. This is all subjective, guys. Just my thoughts. It sucks. It sucks really bad. I hate this change, and I hate the amount that they have nerfed healing like over and over and over to the point where nobody wants to heal anymore. Guys, if you're listening to this, this is real stuff. This is real stuff affecting real players and making people want to quit the game even more. You guys have an amazing platform and an amazing, absolutely stunning game. You do. But stuff like this is just driving people away. Please don't do this. I'm holding on with just a little thread, to New World. I don't want to move on to a new game. I absolutely love this game. I take so much crap from people on the forums defending this game. And, I'm hanging on for dear life. I really hope we make it through this. But give us our paladins back, man. Come on. Come on now. All right. Base healing is 100%. And a player has 2 passives that each increase healing by 10%. Previously, those 2 healing mods were additive, so the calculation was 100 times 1 plus 0.1 plus 0.1, which is equal to 120. With the equip load now being multiplicative, the bonus is calculated after all other math is completed. So if we take the same calculation as above and make the second healing bonus multiplicative, it is calculated as 100 times 1 plus 0.1 equals 110 times 1 plus 0.1 equals 121. So this is just an example. With bigger numbers, you're going to have a bigger impact. So it's just showing you that additive, this would equal out to 120. Multiplicative, this would equal 121. So right here in this example, you're just gaining 1 point, but it's not going to be like that in game. It's going to use the same math, but different numbers. And with the bigger numbers, bigger impact. Removed medium equip load healing bonus and increased the reduction to healing and heavy equipment load. So healing bonuses per equip load are now light, you get plus 30. Medium, there is no bonus. And heavy, minus 30. Whew. So if you're going to be a healer, you're going to have to wear light and learn how to dodge. Now, I don't have a problem with that, but I do have a problem with really not having a choice. Give us a choice. Don't force us to wear light. Give us a choice. Give us an option. This is not an option. Dodges, roots, and slows. Dodging is now allowed while rooted. The player cannot move while rooted, but they will have invulnerability frames. If any of you are wondering, I've received this question several times. I'm just going to explain it now. Iframes. Whenever anybody says, hey, just iframe it, they're talking about invulnerability, which is another fancy word for invincibility, which means you're immune to damage. So it doesn't matter if it looks like you got hit by the ability. It doesn't matter if you're rooted and get hit by the ability. If you press dodge at the right time, you will have a window of invulnerability where you won't take damage no matter what happens. So that's why they call it iframes. And that's why sometimes it looks like you hit somebody, your axe did go through them, but they dodged at the right time and it didn't do any damage. And you can do this with a lot of different abilities. It's pretty neat. So they increase the diminishing returns on consecutive usage of stuns and roots. So duration reduction increased from 20 to 50% per consecutive use. So that's huge. Max reduction increased from 80 to 100%. So being slowed will now affect the movement of your dodge. If you are slowed and you dodge, you will now move less distance based on the power of the slow. They fixed an issue that unintentionally reduced the player's dodge distance. So somebody made a great video about this, showing that, in the PTR, all the dodges, the length was reduced, but they fixed that. So that's great. Fix an issue that caused status effects to not always display on your HUD. So that's a really good change. Ice Shower, Ice Storm, and Gravity Well no longer disable dodging. Fix an issue where stamina regen would take longer if in idle. And currently on live, there is a 1 second delay after you dodge before stamina begins to regen. In the current PTR, we have increased that delay from 1 second to 1.5 for when you begin to dodge. Melee attack homing. Primary attacks on melee weapons should now hit moving targets more consistently. So that's going to be everything. Notable bug fixes. They fix an issue that caused projectiles shot while in free camera to incorrectly calculate projectile direction. Fix an issue where attacks would activate unintentionally after exiting turrets and other interactable actions. Fix an issue that made it so pressing block or aim would not exit all abilities that have any sort of persistent state like aiming or entombed. Now, if block and aim are bound to separate keys, players will be able to press either to exit that persistent state. Fix a number of potential desyncs between the client and server, fix a variety of positional desyncs related to using weapons while moving toward the camera, and fix an issue that caused various range and AoE attacks to unintentionally get backstab crits like Flamethrower, Incinerate, Shockwave, Path of Destiny, and my favorite, Sticky Bomb. Weapon updates. So general, weapon coatings are no longer removed from weapons when gathering resources. Thank you very much. Updated various AoE weapon ability tooltips to include radius information. Updated various weapon ability tooltips to include staggers and knockdown effects, and fix an issue where ranged weapons did not display ammo type and count correctly when obstructed. Blundy, also known as Blunderbuss, adjusted the dodge buffer window for ADS. ADS is aiming down sights when holding your right mouse button. So they adjusted the dodge buffer window for the ADS firing animation to be more consistent with other firing animations. Fix an issue that caused firing inputs to not buffer when entering ADS with the blunderbuss. Blunderbuss charges now show correctly when firing while obstructed and return to the normal reticle. Fix an issue where the player could become unresponsive if they tried to aim and go prone at the same time with the blunderbuss in hand. Fix basic attack having incorrect recovery when canceling an ability. Fix basic attack cancels not working correctly if you move while using splitting grenade and blast shot. Fix an issue that caused a blunderbuss last chance passive to effect to persist through weapon swaps. Fix an issue that caused pellets to not fire when canceling an ability with the primary attack while aiming down the sights. And for mortar charge specifically, 3 things here. Fix an issue where this ability incremented the blood offering curse and mutators too many times in a single use. Fix an issue where the VFX from the skill could disappear prematurely. And freedom. This upgrade speed bonus no longer decays over time. To compensate, its duration was reduced from 3 to 2 seconds. Splitting grenade changes. Fix an issue which caused a desync when moving immediately after using the ability, and fix an issue where critical hits from this ability will not deal additional damage. Azoth's Shrapnel Blast changes. We've got 3 here. Delayed dodge cancel window to match the attack cancel window. Decreased damage per pellet from 58 to 50%. Azoth Bomb increased delay before bomb explosion from 0.5 to 1 second, and they fixed a typo in the upgrade description. Azoth Bomb increased the delay before a bomb explosion from 0.5 to 1 second. Fixed a typo in the upgrade description. Blast Shot, delayed dodge cancel window to match the attack cancel window, and decreased damage from 70 to 50%. So Blunderbuss is getting the nerf bat. Ooh, man. They are getting nerf. So, I mean, some of the things are being fixed, but yeah, they're increasing the time it takes for things to blow up. So just making it much less useful. They're decreasing the damage per pellet for the abilities. They're making the delays longer, decreasing damage from blast shot from 70 to 50%. It looks like net shot's getting kind of a buff, though. Increased damage from 40 to 70%, so that got a pretty big buff. And they increased the slow duration from 2.5 to 3 seconds. So they're just making net shot better so that people actually use it. Apparatus increased slow duration from 5 to 7 seconds and reduced the slow degradation over time from 10% reduction per second to 6% reduction per second. Barb Netting increased damage per second from 5 to 30% and updated this ability's visuals and description to clearly indicate it inflicts bleeding and not poison. Future Planning, this passive now triggers per mortar charge shot instead of on activation. And the Unload Ultimate, they reduced the number of additional pellets from 3 to 2. And then we've got, holy crap, we've got a lot, ladies and gentlemen. All right, holy crap. Bow, reduce recovery on basic attacks, fix ability cancels on basic attacks, increase projectile radius on all attacks except penetrating shot, Added cancel windows to weapon readying animations. Players can now sprint cancel when lowering the weapon. Added missing cancel buffers when lowering the weapon. Poison shot and penetrating shot now use the same fire cancel input as rain of arrows. Reduced hip fire startup and recovery, and increased move speed while hip firing from 1.65 to 2.25. Reduced hip fire multiplier from 0.8 to 0.6. Reduced charge shot damage multiplier from 1.7 to 1.5. Reduced charge time and recovery for charge shots. Wow. Reduce the power of the bow's aim true passive from 30 to 10%. Fix an issue that allowed players to instantly fire penetrating shot or poison shot at the same time as the charged bow shot. Reduce the bow's base block stamina damage from 34 to 42 to 32 to 40, depending on its tier. Reduce bow's charge shot stamina damage coefficient by 38%. Reduce bow's evade shot stamina damage coefficient by 75%. And reduce the evade shot's knockbacks upgrade stamina damage coefficient by 40%. So bow's getting some big changes. We also seen that in the PTR, and it is terrifying. So bow users, get ready. Fire Staff, Burnout. They fix an issue which caused a desync when moving immediately after using the ability. Meteor Shower, increased casting range by 5 meters. Meteor Shower, increased damage by 5%. Judgment of Helios, increased damage by another 5%. Pillar of Fire, you can now move during this casting animation, and the clear casting status effect now properly removes when the Fire Staff is sheathed, unequipped, or out of combat. Updated clear casting passive so that it will now automatically trigger when combat starts instead of when you first take damage. Clear casting, clear mind, and reheat status effects are now properly categorized as buffs. Removed all mention of the reheat status effect incorrectly listed as an empower. Fixed an issue that caused a flamethrower to inadvertently cancel when strafing while a haste buff was active. Fix an issue that caused flamethrower as well as other sustained aimed abilities to cancel through automated traversal, example, step-ups. Reduce flamethrowers block stamina damage by 85%. Man. Great Axe, Whirlwind, increase base movement speed while spinning from 3 to 3.5. Gusting Winds, increase speed bonus 50% to 100%, doubled the Gusting Winds speed bonus, and they fixed an issue where the upgrade names Gusting Winds, which is the speed upgrade, and Unending Winds, which is more spins, were swapped. Hatchet, not much. Berserking Purge, fixed an issue where this upgrade would not properly remove stuns if used too soon after the stun was applied. Ice Gauntlet, so for Ice Storm, they fixed an issue that caused this ability to go on cooldown when the spell was interrupted while in aim mode. So if you get interrupted while you're aiming for the Ice Storm, it will not put the spell on cooldown, and you will be able to cast it, so that's cool. Ice Pylon, the damage increased by 25%. They also increased the health by 8%, going from 12 to 20%. They also fixed an issue that caused the Ice Pylon to damage all targets within range when spawned. And Ice Shower, they updated the tooltip for this ability to include the cooldown on the reapplication of the root effect. Life Staff. So, fix an issue where light attacks canceled targeted healing when Sticky Lock was enabled. Fix an issue that caused targeted healing to attempt to lock on to targets beyond the range of healing spells. Cleaned up the animations and fixed missing visuals and sounds when self-healing. Targeted heals, these abilities now allow movement while casting. Light's Embrace, increased cast time to 1 second. Ugh. Terrible. I don't know what to say. I just think we need a moment of silence. Light's Embrace, reduce bonus healing per buff from 30% to 15%. Added a UI element to indicate whether or not group mode healing is enabled. This indicator will only be shown when group mode targeting or healing is on. The player has their life staff active and they are a member of the group. This also fixed an issue that caused targeted healing out of range highlights not function when activating target lock with MMW or target hotkeys. Targeted healing spells are now limited by line of sight except in expeditions. Okay, another life staff nerf. Yay, what else is new? Musket. Fixed a bug where impact effects for the musket may have played even if the server initiated a client's shot. Fix an issue that caused firing inputs to not buffer when entering ADS with the musket. Hit your mark passive. Updated the description to clarify that this passive only works for standard musket shots and not overloaded shots like power shot and powder burn. Marksman passive. Fix an issue where overloaded shots would not count toward the number of consecutive hits. Shooter stance. Fix an issue where the musket would fire unintentionally in shooter stance with a tactical reload passive. Sticky bomb. Fix an issue where the bomb would disappear without detonating when it attached to destroyed objects. Sticky bomb. Fix an issue where the musket was not removed from the player's hand for remote clients while holding a sticky bomb. Powder burn. Fix an issue where attempting to fire powder burn while prone would instead fire power shot. Trap. Cleaned up several visual aspects for better readability and effect matching. Increased the model size of traps in order to make them more visible and to match the size of the trigger volume. Updated the animation timing to match trap appearance. And adjusted projectile arc and speed to make throwing feel smoother and to make the trap land closer to the reticle position. Rapier. Tondo. Increased bleed damage from 7 to 10% weapon damage per tick. Let's go. Repost. Fix an issue where repost could be triggered by abilities from players that had AoE taunts active. And repost again. Fix an animation desync that triggered when hit in repost. Spear. Deadly consistency. Fix an issue where perks that dealt extra damage like Keenly Jagged and Chain could reset this passive's hit count. Increased hit shape sizes for basic attacks, Skewer, Perforate, and Coup de Grace. Not Coup de Grace, Coup de Grace, like on Kill Bill. Increased homing on Coup de Grace. So Spear's getting a buff. That's a buff. Yeah, that's a buff. Sword and Shield. Leaping Strike. Fix an issue where this ability triggered 2 stacks of the Blood Offering Mutator effect. Void Gauntlet. Refreshing Frailty. Added a 5 hit cap per attack on cooldown reduction. Refreshing Precision. Reduced cooldown reduction from 10% to 5% and added a 5 hit cap per attack on cooldown reduction. Void Blade. Reduced the block stamina damage multiplier from Void Blade's heavy attack from 2 to 1.5 seconds. Increase the scream root duration from 1 second to 2 seconds, and fix the bug that forced players into an in-between Void Blade state when hit. That's good that they fixed that. Warhammer. Not much going on here. Path of Destiny. Fix an issue where crits were not dealing increased damage. They reduced the damage of non-crits from 110 down to 100% to account for the additional crit damage. Items. They fixed an issue where a debug string was present in the Ancient Ward Potion status effect tooltips, and fixed an issue where Cleansing Elixir was not properly removing certain status effects applied by the Ice Gauntlet and Fire Staff abilities. I'm so sorry. Please excuse the hiccups. Perks. PvP only perks. So here we go. Added new PvP perks to go along with the PvP rewards track. So we've got Penetrating Backstab. So backstabs penetrate 10% of a player's armor. Penetrating Headshot, where the headshot penetrates 7% of a player's armor. Fractured Rend. So when block breaking a player, inflict Rend, which reduces their damage absorption by 12% for 4 seconds. That would be cool if everybody used block. Purifying Crits. Critical hits remove 1 buff from a player. Never going to use that. Exhausted Exploitation. Hits against exhausted targets inflict slow, reducing movement speed by 15% for 4 seconds. Cannot re-trigger on the same target. Now, I will say, these extra perks, like, it's cool that they're adding more perks. Some of them really don't make sense, like, when are we going to use this? But since there's so many different classes and different specs, there can be some pretty cool things we can do with these very, very specific perks if we have a very, very specific build. You know what I'm saying? So if you've got a build that does Exhausted, for example, this might be a huge buff if you get like 5 pieces or, whatever the case may be. Alacritous Punishment. Deal 8% additional damage to players with haste. Sturdy Fortification. Blocking attacks adds a stack of 4% Fortify on self for each blocked hit. Now that is bad to the bone. Sturdy Fortification. That's bad, man. That is awesome. So blocking attacks adds a stack of 4% Fortify on yourself for each blocked hit. Max 5 stacks. So that's 20% if you block 5 times. 20% Fortify. So not only are you already blocking, but when that block finally gets broken, it's not going to matter because you're going to have a 20% Fortify. And that's with 1 piece. Can you get 100% Fortify? If you have 5 pieces that each add 4%? Oh man, I got some testing to do. Shirking Heal is another amazing one. After successfully dodging an attack, heal for 100 health. each armor piece with this perk adds a stack. So I wish it was like a percentage thing, because 500 health, that's if you have 5 pieces. 500 health, is that a lot for each dodge? That is like 5, 10, 15, 3 dodges right there. That's 1.5k HP. So yeah, I think it'd be really good. Yeah. Siege Ward, receive 6% less damage from siege weapons. Mortal Empowerment, player kills grant a persistent 2% damage bonus that lasts either 20 minutes or until downed, death, or game mode exit. Duration refreshes on reapplication, stacks up to 15 times, cannot be cleansed. Invigorated Punishment, abilities deal 3% damage per buff on the target. Now that's going to be pretty cool too. Holy crap. Shirking Empower, after successfully dodging an attack, gain Empower, which increases damage dealt by 4% for 10 seconds. It refreshes when a new stack is applied, stacks 4 times. So another really, really cool one. Pretty excited about those. So some general fit perks. Critical Retribution, fixed an issue where the tooltip cooldown did not show the accurate value. Elemental Attunement, fixed an issue where this perk did not trigger off all abilities. Elemental Attunement updated the tooltip to better clarify why it may not work with certain abilities. Efficient Burnout, fixed an issue where the buff applied by this perk used debug text. Elemental Damage Gems, fixed an issue that caused certain abilities to deal less total damage when elemental damage gems were equipped. Freedom, fixed an issue where this perk did not specify that it affected root. Freedom, removes silence from the tooltip since the only silence currently present in the game are AoEs and the duration cannot be modified. Gathering Efficiency, increase effectiveness of the perk from a range of 5% to 20% to a higher range of 25% to 100%, and updated tooltips to indicate that the speed increases a percent of the base speed rather than the total. Keen Vault Kick, fix an issue that allowed Vault Kick to apply the buff associated with this perk when the perk was not equipped. Mortal Empowerment, fix an issue where the player could bring the Empower bonus into other game modes. Nullifying Oblivion, fix an issue where this perk would remove any effects from persistent AoEs. Plague Crits, fix a spelling error in the description. Fix an issue with this perk's description in the trading post. And fix an issue where this perk only applied from random crits and not from headshots or backstabs. Plague Strikes, fix a spelling error in the description. Pylon Burst, fix an issue where the AoE burst from this perk could not be blocked. And finally, Trenchant Rend, fix an issue where the inflicted debuff was incorrectly labeled as Frost Attunement. Notable fixes: fix an issue where perk attributes persisted on the player when upgrading an item's gear score. Fix an issue that caused the elemental attunement perks not to trigger off of all abilities, and also added clarification to the tooltip to better explain why it would not proc off certain abilities. Fix an issue that caused dots and persistent conditions to unintentionally trigger the damage bonus from the weapon's shirking perks. Fix an issue that caused the Insatiable Gravity Well perk to trigger damage when other weapons were unsheathed if the perk was slotted into armor. Game mode update. So invasions, the boss AI and invasions are no longer impacted by Gravity Well. Oh, come on. We love Gravity Well. Outpost Rush. So Outpost Rush consumables now have a max stack size of 100. It was only 10. Increase the quantity of items granted from gathering trees, ore, and rawhide resources. Increase the speed at which items are gathered by 30%. Added armories to each fort spawn. Tuned capture point timing. Minimum time is now 10 seconds. It was 30, and each player reduces the time to capture by 10 seconds. Reduce the skinning experience granted by Outpost Rush Wolves, and players can now shoot projectiles through their own spawn doors, and players now get credit for kills inflicted by damage over time attacks. The Outpost Rush resources counter will now correctly reset after the match is completed. Opening Outpost Rush loot bags from slain enemies, but not collecting the contents, will no longer destroy the bag's resources. Or, they reworked the bonuses received from faction control points. The bonuses are now as follows. Now this is interesting. Pay attention. So, if you have the Brightwood Fort, is that what they mean? Rework the bonuses received from faction control points. Yeah. So Brightwood means camping no longer costs resources. So it's pretty cool. Cutlass Keys increases global gathering luck by 10%. Very cool. Evanscale decrease the cost of items in the faction store by 5%. Very cool. Everfall increases the amount of Azoth salt gained by 10%. We'll see about that one. I don't even know what. I mean, it doesn't seem like you're really going to ever run out of Azoth salt. I don't even really understand why that. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. Not a bad thing, though. But if Azoth salt really is something that we need and not something that we're always going to have, then this would be a great one. First Light increases global refining yield by 10%. Extremely cool. Monarch Bluffs increase all experience gains by 5%. Definitely good if you're leveling. Morningdale increased the gear score ceiling of crafting by 5%. The maximum gear score you can roll is still 600. Now, this is cool. Now, I got not into an argument, but I didn't understand at first. I thought they were increasing the floor by 5%, which would have been absolutely amazing. But it is still really cool that they're increasing the ceiling, the high number, by 5. So if you can only craft, let's say 500 to 595, let's say like 550 to 595, now it's going to be 550 to 600. So you're not going to have every single piece of gear, every single maximum trophy to get 600. You can still get to 600. It's still going to be tough, but you now have the ability to if you can only previously get to 595. So very, very cool. Good job. Kudos to AGS for that one. For all these. This is a really great change. Reekwater increases the amount of PvP experience gained by 5%. Really cool. Restless Shores, all fast travel is now free. It's already free. Weaver's Fen decreases global tax values by 10%. That's all right. And Windsward increased the chance that a consumable isn't consumed on use by 10%. I think that's really cool. I like that one. I do. So there's only a couple that are kind of, así, if you will, for all my Spanish folks on Scylla. Added a speculative fix for the fort area to properly restrict it during some wars. We will continue to monitor the forums to see if players are still encountering this rare issue. Fixed a bug that prevented players from replacing fort turrets. So we've got some economy, progression, and gear changes coming up. So here we go for general. PvP consumables have been added to the game along with the release of PvP arenas. Added refinement recipes to the gypsum kiln to refine single stat perk items from multi-stat perk items. We realized there were too few effective gathering loops for star metal, orichalcum, gold, and platinum, and as a result, we made the following changes. They added new spawn locations for star metal and orichalcum to the world across 8+ zones, and players can now farm these resources at more locations throughout Eternum. Now, they also updated the respawn times of star metal and orichalcum to match iron ore. This is a 33% reduction for star metal, meaning it's going to respawn 33% faster and 50% faster for orichalcum respawn times. That means you can now farm these resources way more frequently. Now, the question is, are the bots still going to be all over it? Is it still going to be non-existent? Just because we have more and quicker, does that mean the bots are going to get more faster? Or does that mean more for the players? This is something I would like to see. So if they can get the bots under control, then we are golden. We are golden. So AGS, that's on you. Let's go. Updated respawn times of gold and platinum to match silver ore. So this is a 33% reduction for gold and an 80% reduction for platinum respawn times. Good luck and happy mining. Now, there's always going to be haters. In my opinion, this is an amazing, much needed change. And I just want to say good job, guys. You're making this game better every day, except for the healing. Tier 4 hides are currently more rare than we would like. So while Tier 5 hides are more abundant, this unintentionally caused a bottleneck at Tier 4 hides, making Tier 5 hides less valuable. We have made changes to the level bands at which creatures drop specific tiers of hides to help alleviate this issue, and we will continue to monitor this and assess if any future changes are needed to improve the value and volume of T5 hides. So they changed the level ranges in which creatures drop hides. New updated level ranges. Tier 1 is 1 to 35. Tier 4, 36 to 55. And Tier 5, 56 to 66. The previous ranges were Tier 1, 1 to 41. So there's going to be less mobs that drop Tier 1. There's going to be more mobs that drop Tier 4. And more mobs that drop... less mobs that drop Tier 5. Oh, wait. Yeah, there's going to be less mobs that drop Tier 1. There's going to be less mobs... No, more mobs that drop tier 4. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's right. Okay. And less mobs that drop tier 5. Okay. Yes. Whew. I could do basic math sometimes. All right, so notable fixes. The Barbarian Scarf no longer clips with a nude chest. Fix a visual issue with the cape of the Stormbound apparel. Fix a visual issue with the Empress Zhao's embroidered tunic apparel. Fix an issue with the Engineer set apparel. Fix a visual issue with the Heavy Smile apparel, Isabella's chest plate, Jadeite Dragon, Knight of Devotion mixer set, Moonborn, Nishatun's breastplate, Obelisk priest robe, red ripping hood, reinforced shatterers, heavy gauntlets of the century, the Skinner shirt, Starbound, Stormbound, Varangian chestplate, Varangian or Varangian? Which one do you guys like better? Leave it in the comments. Varangian with a hard G or Varangian? Winter Wanderer's coat, imbued wax and cloak, and smile breastplate. Fix an issue that caused the old amulet item to not properly roll with the gem slot. As a result, it was impossible to attain legendary rarity even with a high gear score. So they fixed that. Lowered the emissive glow levels on mutator weapons. That sucks because we love that glow. Fixed visual issues with the Barbarian Bruiser helmet and chest. Added missing cores for the Depths Ice Gauntlet and Void Gauntlet. Fixed the VFX on the Draconian Edge with gems applied. Fix the VFX on the Twin Beasts with gems applied. Fix Gleaming Pitch Great Axe VFX. Fix an issue where the player would unintentionally spin after leaving the romantic swooning crouch interaction. Updated the punching animation to have footsteps. Fix an issue where the player's leg would jitter during the tree pose emote. Fix an issue where the player's ankle would bend incorrectly during the ballerina emote. And fix the rotation of the Fire's Breath fire staff so that it's facing the correct orientation. Fishing changes. Players can now stack fishing trophies so it's consistent with other trophies. Adjusted fishing trophy impact to account for the new stacking capabilities, and fixed bobber and splash visuals that incorrectly appeared on land. Gear and loot. So they fixed an issue where the blunderbuss last argument was incorrectly labeled as a musket. Removed the gem sockets from invasion shields. Shields were not supposed to have gem sockets, and this brings invasion shields back in line with other shields. The Blackguard's Void Gauntlet was previously changed to refreshing evasion. The intention was to create an identity for the Blackguard's mage items and create synergy with the light armor drops in the Tempest Heart, but based on feedback, it will revert back to play crits. Removed weight from some quest items, increased the durability of all T1 gathering tools. Elite chests now have a 15% chance to drop 50 Umbral. Lucky Rabbit Foot is now on a luck safe table. Tier 5 mana potions drop chance reduced by 50% and Tier 4 reduced by 25%. Legendary refinement materials drop chance and aptitude boxes have been reduced. Legendary refinement materials drop chances in gathering have been increased. So the aptitude chests are going to be less valuable, and when you're gathering, you're going to be getting more of those legendary mats like Cinnabar and Tovium. Now, I already discussed what's going to happen with the prices, I think, but we'll see. Skinning legendary refinement materials have been reduced. Now, that's just saying, generally speaking, skinning legendary refinement materials have been reduced. So you're going to see less Smolderhide and Scarhide, I guess, from what? From aptitude chests? Yeah, so from aptitude chests for sure, and also from the world. So, hello. So Scarhide and Smolderhide are going to go up in price because you're going to get less from the aptitude and less from the world when skinning. So, yeah, so, wait. Legendary refinement. Are those... I think they're talking about, the Smolderhide and Scarhide, right? All right, so rarities on legendary refinement and legendary materials have been adjusted so that the refinement is now epic and the refined materials are now legendary. Disabled the ability to drag Umbral Shards, gems, or repair kits directly from storage onto equipped items. This should prevent instances where upgrading shows you the wrong amount of available shards in certain instances. Fix an issue that caused loot bags to sometimes disappear while a player was interacting with it. Fix an issue that allowed players to deposit items into a loot bag that was about to disappear. Fix an issue that caused Isabella's amulet to not be given to subsequent characters. And trashing vines no longer dropped in-game. Added a speculative fix to convert any existing ones into clumps of withering briar. We will continue to monitor the forums to see if players are still encountering this rare issue. And we are almost done. So, notable fixes for the UI and social stuff. Fix an issue where main menu lost sound effects after entering the game and exiting back into the main menu. Fix an issue where the player could remain crouched or prone while moving with the inventory open. Fix an issue with camping, available notifications overlapping. Fix an issue that caused the connection error pop-up message to spam repeatedly. Fix the icon for unlimited ammo status. Quick slot consumable cooldown and usability indicators should now appear as intended. The correct attributes are now displayed when viewing a weapon to equip in the inventory. Fix solid black background on icons. Fix issue where the reward container UI would show that you had gained expertise for a 600 gear score item when you were already at 600 expertise. Fix an issue where duplicate chain lightning perks appeared in the trading post perk selection list. Updated blunderbuss damage to reflect per pellet damage. It will now show base damage times 6. Quality of life improvements. Oh boy, let's go. Let's go. We now show an error message when you attempt to pick up items that the character inventory is already at the maximum item limit. Added the ability to change skills and spend skill points based on whether the player is in or out of combat instead of blocking when the player had an ability on cooldown. Added a tooltip to explain how to increase mana regen on the attributes menu. Added new visuals to the ultimate ability in the weapon mastery screen to clarify that 10 perk points were needed to unlock it. Added the ability to rotate the camera with the map open by holding the right mouse button. Added the mutator difficulty level to always be shown on the HUD for players and Twitch viewers. The daily mission bonus UI should now always update properly, even if you have the faction mission window open when it resets. Disabled the ability to open reward containers if your inventory is full. The left side list no longer resets after crafting an item. This should help when choosing to craft again. Improve player feedback when choosing between different weapon abilities. Improve player feedback when choosing between different weapon abilities. Somebody let me know what the heck they're talking about, because I do not know. Added notifications and effects to celebrate salvaging items. We now hide trading post contracts for invalid items on the search browser. Any company member can now take control of a company after the governor is inactive for 25 days. Yes. Great change, guys. Great change. This new feature follows the console's current ability to take control of a company after the governor is inactive for 15 days. Spirit shrines will now have their correct name displayed on the respawn screen for better clarity. A reticle will now appear on the map over a currently selected respawn location. Added a notification for when the player joins a game mode with not enough room in their inventory to accept rewards, and the upgrade tooltip now lists how many more resources you'll need for upgrades instead of the total amount required. Translations fixed a variety of translation UI issues. Gleaming and waxen items are now properly localized. The View Expedition button found on the map is now properly localized. The description for the expedition mutation of Boreal is now properly localized. Audio fixed several VO issues impacting the following NPCs: Architect Nali, Barkeep Cecilia Pauli, Evelyn Van Heck, Father Russo, Samuel Bloodgood, and the Heretic. Fixed mismatched French VO and subtitles for Hunter Samuel Worthington Bloodgood III. Isabella's VO that triggers prior to the final encounter is now easier for players to hear. Fixed major portal and minor hive spawning sounds. Updated the scrying table decor item to play sound effects when a player interacts with it. Updated the earth shell turtle sound effects to match other magical creatures in volume. Updated the blunderbuss net shot and claw shot abilities to not make ringing metallic sound. The shattered bleed sound effects is now easier for players to hear. Added sound effects to the armillary dial housing item. Changed the sound effects for minor banners to a softer and less aggressive sound. Music will progressively get muffled and detuned when the player is at low health. Resolved an issue where boss music would not continue playing after a player was revived. However, when a player respawns after death's door, boss music will no longer play in order to stop the music from restarting. Updated the distance from which players can hear elk breathing. The previous Gallop emote sound effects was replaced, but only for the player using it. The Gallop emote sound effects audio levels have been lowered for everyone but the player using it. The sent and received chat whisper sound effects was replaced and now plays a ding every time a message is received. Thank you for your support. We'll see you in Eternum. So, long list. I don't think I actually read anything new. I think that's all the same stuff. So, if it is, Really sorry for wasting your guys' time. But hey, if nothing else, at least we know this is coming out tomorrow. Now, that is according to the forum post here. Where was it? Well, yeah, the same thing I showed you guys in the very beginning of the video. I don't even know if it's going to show up here. I forgot where I found it. But anyway, yeah, so tomorrow there's going to be downtime at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. or 8 a.m. Eastern, 5 a.m. Western. So there you go, guys. If anybody has any questions, let me know. Pretty excited. Actually, really excited for this one. Really excited. I'm excited for all of them, but mainly this one because I'm hoping that the 3v3 arenas are going to increase the player count in New World. I'm just so ready for people to come back and start playing again, aren't you? Thanks for watching, guys. Thank you so much for all the support, and I will catch you guys on the flip side. Bye, guys.